Imagine, if you will, a town just reeling from the echoes of a recent massacre. Its streets are now eerily empty, its old leadership totally swept away, replaced by this stern, unyielding new authority.
Yeah, and there's this thick, pervasive fear hanging in the air. It's like a constant companion to every whisper, every shadow.
Exactly. And this isn't just any town, this is Vallaki. Within its tense, almost suffocating confines, there's this desperate quest unfolding. Plans are spectacularly unraveling, and new destinies are colliding in ways no one could have possibly predicted.
Right.
So today, you're joining us for a deep dive into an adventure session so packed with twists and turns, it honestly feels like it's been ripped straight from the pages of some gothic novel.
Mm-hmm.
We've been sifting through message.txt, which is this really detailed account of a single intense session, to try and uncover the crucial decisions, the dramatic events, and the unfolding mysteries that are shaping these adventurers' journey.
And our mission, really, for you, is to unpack the intricate layers of this whole narrative. We're going to try and illuminate that fascinating, often kind of frustrating contrast between meticulous planning and, well, absolute chaotic execution.
Right. The best laid plans.
Exactly. And those sudden, almost whiplash-inducing shifts in fortune, and the surprising, often pretty desperate ways new alliances can just pop up in the shadow of this truly ancient evil.
So what happens when our heroes, or maybe given the, morally gray situations they keep finding themselves in, maybe our anti-heroes have to navigate a world that seems actively designed to thwart them at every single turn?
Yeah, how do they even cope?
All right. With that mission clear, let's dive straight into Vallaki's grim new reality. Okay, so we open this session with our surviving adventurers. That's Radley, Traxidor, and Daermon returning to what should be a familiar haven, right? The Blue Water Inn.
Yeah, their home base, sort of.
But right away, you can just feel this profound shift in the atmosphere. The tap room, which they've surely seen bustling before, lots of patrons, chatter. It's now eerily, uncomfortably quiet.
Completely empty. And this isn't just like an off night for the local pub.
No.
It's a stark symptom of something much deeper, much more chilling, gripping Vallaki.
Definitely. The source tells us the townsfolk are basically staying out of sight. They're scarred, almost traumatized by that recent massacre during what was supposed to be a celebration, the Festival of the Blazing Sun.
Yeah, imagine the silence on the main street. Usually you'd hear hawkers, villagers talking.
Yeah.
Now it's just maybe the distant clang of a guard patrol's armor.
It's unnerving.
The air itself feels colder, sharper, like fear is just frozen everyone's breath. Shop windows are shuttered, not just closed, but like bolted tight, almost defensively.
Like the whole town is holding its breath.
Mirroring how the townsfolk are retreating inward, maybe peeking out from behind curtains at any sound. It's not just quiet, it's a town in mourning, gripped by this intense, pervasive fear.
And the whole political landscape, totally upended. There's a new regime in place. Vallaki's new burgomistress, the town's appointed leader, she's taken firm, almost autocratic control.
And it's not a gentle transition, is it? The source calls it a severe crackdown.
Right. Curfews, public spaces deserted, those are the immediate, tangible results. It fundamentally reshapes everything about daily life there.
And if that wasn't enough to set a somber mood, the source explicitly mentions the death of Sören Ironwood. We can guess he was a significant character just from the mention.
Yeah, definitely.
And his death happened only a half hour before this session even starts.
So they're walking into a freshly wounded city, still bleeding from recent tragedies, both public and, for them, probably quite personal with Sören.
It's a heavy start. You can almost feel the weight on their shoulders as they step back into that inn. A stark reminder that the stakes are just constantly escalating in Barovia.
That half-hour detail, it's incredibly potent, isn't it? It means the immediate past isn't just history. It's still this raw, open wound, a trauma unfolding in real time.
Exactly. And it just amplifies that pervasive mood of fear and unease gripping the town. We see it concretely. Curfews, deserted streets. It's oppressive. You can feel it, even just hearing about it.
This new burgomistress, she's tightened her grip, right? Strict rules. Probably trying to restore order, but maybe inadvertently just layering more fear onto an already terrified population.
And it extends to the people, too. Fundamentally changing the social fabric. Even Danica, the innkeeper, someone you'd expect to be, a welcoming face.
Like constant, yeah.
Now he regards new arrivals coolly, The source says she's openly suspicious of outsiders.
So it's not just the empty streets, it's this deep shift in human interaction. Every glance, every whispered word feels weighed down with this new kind of caution.
It immediately sets that tone of distrust. A community turning inward, deeply wary of anything or anyone new. It's such a stark contrast to what an inn usually represents, a place of respite, camaraderie. Now it's a place of quiet scrutiny.
And that's why it matters so much for our adventurers, right? This new status quo completely changes how they can operate in Vallaki.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In a city where every shadow might hide an informant, where public spaces are watched, where even the innkeeper is suspicious, their usual methods, severely compromised.
Stealth, discretion, quick thinking, they're not just useful skills anymore. They become absolutely essential for survival, just to achieve any objective without drawing the really severe ire of this new regime.
And if you connect this to the bigger picture, it really highlights how Barovia itself, through its politics and the fear it instills, actively constrains and challenges anyone trying to change things.
It forces them to adapt or just get crushed.
Yeah, demonstrating that ever-present, insidious nature of Strahd's influence, even in seemingly mundane power shifts. It's actually a very clever way the narrative sets up immediate, tangible stakes for every single action they take. Makes even a simple walk down the street a potential gamble.
So, okay, given all that immediate danger, the recent loss, the tension you can practically taste in Vallaki, you'd expect our companions to be, well, hyper-focused on their next immediate life-saving move.
You really would. Survival mode.
But here's a curious turn. The source tells us they actually take a moment to pause. Right there, amidst this fresh trauma and the city's grim reality, they start reminiscing about Madam Eva's tarot card reading.
Which wasn't recent at all. This was way back, early days in Barovia. A pivotal moment of prophecy.
It's a surprising shift, isn't it? To reflect on destiny amidst such immediate chaos, almost like they're searching for meaning, maybe reassurance, in a world that feels increasingly random and hostile.
It truly is. And it speaks volumes about how pervasive fate and mysticism are within Barovia. Even when immediate dangers loom large, those bigger underlying currents of destiny still occupy their minds. They're like a guide, but also a source of constant anxiety.
That's a very human impulse, though, isn't it? When faced with overwhelming randomness, you look for patterns. You want to believe there's a bigger plan.
Definitely. Now, Daermon, interestingly, is noted as being perplexed by this turn in the conversation.
Ah, okay.
Which cleverly reveals he wasn't actually there for that initial reading.
So it's a way to fill him in.
Exactly. It's not just a character detail. It's a narrative device. It lets Traxidor and Radley recount the Vistani woman's fortune-telling for his benefit, and by extension for ours, for you, the listener. It's our chance to catch up on this crucial piece of backstory, vital exposition woven pretty seamlessly into the dialogue.
And Radley doesn't just stop there. He also shares details about Stanimir, a Vistani, one of those nomadic people often serving as Strahd's eyes and ears across the land.
Right, a complicated relationship.
And how his people's relationship to Strahd was foretold. So this isn't just simple fortune-telling anymore. It hints at these deep-seated, complex loyalties, ancient pacts, a history binding certain groups, like the Vistani, directly to the land's dark overlord, often fraught with manipulation, maybe even grudging service.
It adds layers, doesn't it, to what might otherwise seem like a straightforward hero's journey. It shows that alliances in Barovia are rarely simple. They often come with a hidden cost or some terrible truth attached.
So these prophecies, they're not isolated events. They're threads in a much larger tapestry, constantly shaping how they see things, what they expect.
Precisely. And when they actually look at the cards themselves, we see this fascinating mix of revelation and continued mystery. The source says they've already identified the meaning of the tax collector.
Okay, so one down.
Yeah, this implies a past success. Maybe a quest completed, a significant revelation that's already moved their larger adventure forward. It indicates genuine progress in this really daunting quest.
That must feel good, at least, like validation.
A rare comfort in a land of despair, for sure, having that foundational piece of the puzzle in place.
But then you have the bishop. This card, Traxidor knows, alluded to the Amber Temple, which is this legendary, super dangerous place full of ancient knowledge and dark secrets.
Right, and he's still keen on finding it. He knows it's somewhere on Mount Gakis, that towering, treacherous peak at the southern end of the valley.
But the exact location, and more importantly, what secrets it really holds, still a mystery. A tantalizing mystery. It's a powerful long-term goal, isn't it? Potential source of great power or vital info, just hanging over them.
A beacon of what might be, if they can only find it. And then there's the Seer, The party believes they've successfully identified Ismak as this fated companion.
Okay, another piece seemingly falling into place. A prophecy fulfilled, maybe confirming their path, solidifying their current allies. A glimmer of hope they're not totally alone in this fight.
But then, they hit a wall. Uncertainty with the executioner and the mercenary. These cards, the source states, remain frustratingly cryptic.
Meaningless for now.
Pretty much. Their meaning is still too obscure to give them any practical guidance. It leaves crucial aspects of their future completely uncertain. It's a powerful reminder, isn't it? Even with divine guidance, not everything is revealed. The most dangerous twists often stay hidden until the very last moment.
The striking thing here is how these prophecies serve as both guidance and mystery. They provide direction, they confirm past events and alliances, almost like a divine roadmap, but they also leave huge unknowns, forcing the adventurers to make decisions with incomplete information, basically navigating a fog of fate.
They know some things, just enough to keep moving, but the most dangerous, maybe the most critical pieces of the puzzle, still veiled. It's this constant agonizing tension between destiny and free will. Every step they take is an act of faith or maybe defiance against an unknown future.
And zooming out, the implications for Barovia as a whole are pretty profound. This really highlights that pervasive sense of predestination, the supernatural woven into the very fabric of the land.
It's not just a random series of encounters. It's a world where even a simple card reading can dictate destinies, where characters are swept up in forces much larger than themselves.
Reinforces that gothic horror element, suggesting the very fabric of existence here is woven with premonition and ancient curses. Your path to salvation or damnation might already be laid out, just waiting for you to stumble onto it.
And this constant presence of an unfolding prophecy, it also hints at the narrative's deep roots in that tradition of tragic, fated heroes. Adds a layer of, well, sophisticated literary depth to their whole adventure.
So after this deep, almost existential reflection on fate and prophecy, the party finally shifts focus back to something more immediate, more concrete.
Back to reality.
Yeah. They decide to continue their search for a wedding dress for the Abbot. Now, the Abbot is this powerful, really enigmatic figure in Barovia, known for his strange obsessions and maybe even stranger experiments, particularly with flesh golems.
Right, not exactly your friendly neighborhood cleric.
Not at all. So this is quite an unusual objective in itself, isn't it? It implies this ongoing, perhaps strange obligation they have to this powerful yet deeply disturbing figure.
It really does. But as they're thinking about it, Daermon has what the source calls a crucial aha moment.
Oh.
Yes, a critical insight that, in retrospect could have saved them a lot of trouble. It suddenly occurs to Daermon that if the Reeve was emptying the house, the dress might have simply been in the wagon outside the Reeve's headquarters the whole time.
Oh, man. You mean they might have stormed the manor, confronted the Reeves for nothing if they'd just checked the wagon first?
Possibly. This single realization implies they might have entirely circumvented a dangerous confrontation. It's that classic case of hindsight being 20/20, a moment of just profound frustration, realizing they might have already completed a difficult task if only they'd considered this simpler path earlier.
Okay, so armed with this belated but vital info, they make a quick decision.
Yeah.
They're going to waylay the wagon, search for the dress. Simple enough, right?
Seems like it.
They even presume it would go to Lady Wachter's house. She's that powerful, subtly menacing noblewoman known for her loyalty to Strahd. So this suggests Lady Wachter is a known quantity, a potential adversary, or at least someone they need to keep tabs on.
Right, so the initial plan is pretty straightforward. Ambush the wagon as it passes. Seems logical, maybe even strategically sound.
Logical, perhaps, but fatally flawed in its execution. Which, let's be honest, often happens in Barovia when plans meet reality.
Tell me about it.
The source details this classic problem with group dynamics. The party starts squabbling in circles over the plan's details.
Analysis paralysis.
Totally. This isn't just a minor disagreement. This infighting and indecision directly leads to their immediate, almost embarrassing failure. While they argue debating the perfect angle, the optimal timing, all the contingencies.
The wagon just passes right by the inn, completely unnoticed by the bickering adventurers.
It's almost comical in its tragic irony. A perfect illustration of how getting bogged down in hypothetical details can be more dangerous than just acting. Their focus blinded them to the present reality.
It truly is. And it's only Danica, the innkeeper, who snaps them back to reality. Points out the wagon through a window, an outside intervention breaking through their self-imposed paralysis.
It highlights how deeply engrossed they were in their own unproductive bickering, almost oblivious. But even then, there's no cohesive group action. Instead, Daermon abruptly leaps up,
Just goes for it.
rushes from the inn, pursuing the wagon alone up the street towards Lady Wachter's mansion. It's impulsive, almost instinctual, probably born from frustration and wanting to fix their collective failure immediately.
And quite a determined move. He cuts a corner, shows impressive agility, closes the distance fast, but the wagon stays tantalizingly just out of reach, pulled by its horses at a good clip. In a last-ditch, adrenaline-fueled effort, he leaps and catches the tailgate moments before it arrives at the mansion gates. Pure rogue agility and sheer desperation, a testament to his individual resourcefulness.
Wow.
Then he breathlessly scrambles underneath the chassis, finds this precarious hiding spot, just as the teamster dismounts to tend to the horses. Quick thinking under immense pressure, finding concealment in the nick of time. Now he's right there, hidden in plain sight.
The striking thing here narratively is that dramatic contrast. You've got the group's stalled, ineffective planning, all that talking in circles, overthinking, and then Daermon's immediate, chaotic, incredibly physical response. While the others were lost in hypotheticals, Daermon acted. He abandoned the flawed plan, embraced pure improvisation.
It's not just about his personality, it's maybe a profound observation about survival in Barovia. Sometimes the sheer will to just do something, seize a fleeting opportunity, trumps meticulous but slow deliberation.
Yeah, it really poses that deeper question about heroism in this dark land. Is true success here often just a matter of chaotic adaptation rather than rigid foresight?
So Daermon's clinging under the wagon, hidden from the teamster.
Yeah.
He's got a moment, right? His initial hope, maybe a flicker of conventional thinking, is the teamster will just go inside, leave the wagon, right for the taking.
Makes sense. Less confrontation.
But of course, in Barovia, nothing's ever that easy. The teamster stubbornly stays outside right by the wagon, maybe enjoying the quiet, who knows. But it forces Daermon to change tactics on the fly.
Meanwhile, Radley and Traxidor, who left the inn behind Daermon, they're quickly outpaced. Their cautious approach now leaves them way behind.
Yeah, they're trying to stay inconspicuous, stealthing behind houses, which really highlights their more measured approach compared to Daermon's impulsiveness.
It's like that classic divergence in adventuring styles, isn't it?
Totally. So Daermon, in his desperation, turns to magic, but subtly. He casts Minor Illusion, that simple spell, creating a sensory figment to make the sound of a bear, right behind the horses.
A bear. Okay, bold move.
The immediate effect is exactly what he hoped for. The teamster is startled, totally unprepared for that sound, and the horses, already skittish in this tense town, they spook violently. Leaping their harnesses, the wagon jolts forward a few feet.
It's enough.
Just enough to create that window. With that slight, unexpected momentum, Daermon then casts Mage Hand the spell with a spectral, disembodied hand.
Right, for manipulating things remotely.
Exactly. He uses it to release the wheel brake. And just like that, the wagon starts lumbering into motion.
And that's when the real, pure chaos begins. The frantic horses, now terrified and with the brake off, immediately pull the wagon wildly down the street.
Daermon's just clinging to the undercarriage for dear life as it speeds up. The source says maybe only 3 wheels are on the ground sometimes. It's being tossed so violently by the uneven cobblestones.
Oh man, just picturing that. It's pure danger. Every bump could throw him off.
And to emphasize the sheer mayhem, periodically, things are flying out of the back chairs, paintings crashing onto the road with these sickening thuds. It illustrates the destructive force of this out-of-control vehicle.
And the teamster.
Left behind. Tries to run after it, shouting probably, but he's quickly outpaced. Left in the dust and wreckage, just bewildered frustration.
Okay, so Daermon's created this chaos. He's on this wild ride. What next?
This is where Daermon, despite his impressive agility and quick thinking so far, makes a crucial miscalculation. He figures he's gained enough distance from the mansion and the teamster.
Thinks he's clear.
Yeah. So he casts Mage Hand again, trying to reset the wagon's handbrake. His intention is probably to bring it to a controlled, discreet stop, secure his prize. Right.
Makes sense, but...
But his calculation is catastrophically off. The wheels lock up with this sickening screech. For a moment, the wagon peters violently, left-right, this dramatic, agonizing pause.
Oh no.
Then, with brutal, splintering force, it jackknifes and turns over right in the middle of the road.
And the consequences. Devastating, I imagine. The source paints a grim picture.
It's truly grim. The remaining contents are tossed everywhere, amidst splintered wood, broken spokes, but the most heartbreaking detail is the fate of the horses.
Oh, the poor animal.
Violently jerked to a halt mid-stride by the jackknifing wagon, tumbling over onto the street. The source mentions ribs, spines, legs snapping from the impact. It's brutal, visceral, a tableau of broken life and shattered ambition, all for a wedding dress.
Yet, amidst this carnage, Daermon's agility saves him again.
Yeah, he's thrown from beneath the wagon, but due to his rogue skills, lands with only minor abrasions and contusions, miraculously escapes serious injury.
And after shaking off the crash, what does he do?
A moment of unexpected mercy actually shines through. He sees the maimed horses, neighing, whinnying in agony, clearly suffering.
Takes pity.
Yeah, a flicker of compassion in the grim aftermath. He draws his dagger, delivers a swift end to their suffering. It's a small act, amidst the chaos he caused, but it reveals a layer of his character, maybe a moral compass still somewhat intact, even when his methods are so destructive.
And then, amidst the wreckage, the mud.
A streak of luck. He finally spots it. Lady Vallakovich's wedding dress, his objective, lying relatively intact in the muddy street.
But the clock's ticking, right? The crash must have drawn attention.
Exactly. He hears villagers coming, shouts, footsteps getting closer. Daermon, ever the opportunist, quickly gathers the dress, his prize, and makes a hasty, discreet withdrawal. Melts into the shadows, escapes with his objective as the full consequences of his actions. This public spectacle of destruction begin to unfold behind him, now firmly linked to the mysterious strangers in town.
So the profound implication here. Daermon succeeds, he gets the dress, but at this significant, highly visible cost.
Absolutely. The wrecked wagon, the dead horses, the public chaos, it all highlights the destructive nature of these impulsive actions, even if driven by a clear objective or, in this case, this strange good intention for the abbot.
And it's not just about the moral cost of the horses, it's the ripple effect, isn't it? The heightened authority of the burgomistress, the increased fear among the townsfolk, this public spectacle, it actually makes their next objective, whatever it is, even harder.
That's a subtle but pervasive truth in Barovia, isn't it? Even a win can be a loss in disguise. You end up building the very walls of oppression you're trying to dismantle, escalating the scrutiny and danger you face.
Okay, so while all this explosive chaos is unfolding with Daermon's heist, completely unbeknownst to him and the others, a new, equally significant thread starts weaving itself into the narrative.
A different perspective.
Yeah. A diminutive stranger approaches Vallaki. This is Urihorn Tenpenny, a halfling beastmaster, master of animals, wilderness survival, usually has a loyal animal companion. His arrival immediately signals a shift, a new piece entering this already complex board.
And he's a cautious observer right from the start. Got that hunter's keen eye working already. Surveying the heavily guarded gates, Urihorn notes the palisade walls are way too tall to climb. Immediately forces him to consider a more conventional but still dangerous entry.
And the welcome wagon isn't exactly friendly.
Not at all. The real grim welcome comes from his observation of all those wolf heads stuck on pikes outside the gate. A stark, brutal warning about the dangers within, the savage nature of this land. A clear message from the local powers.
Grim.
That he whispers to this slinking beast accompanying him, which then bounds off towards the tree line. Hints at his beastmaster skills, his strategic mind moving his companion out of sight as he prepares to enter.
So he approaches the gate, announces himself. Urihorn Tenpenny from Falkovnia, that realm known for its harsh military regime, aggressive expansionism.
And the guards. Typically brutal and dismissive, they laugh at him, suggest he join a circus, casually mention nearby Vistani with a big tent. It's dismissive, but also, ironically, kind of informative. Gives Urihorn potential leads, highlights the local disdain for outsiders.
But he's undeterred. He bribes his way in, pays a steep price, which immediately establishes Vallaki as a place hard to enter without significant personal cost.
And the guards then warn him he'll need the Reeve's permission to leave, solidifying Vallaki's rep not just as hard to get into, but as a trap. Escape isn't guaranteed. A prison disguised as a town.
So, once inside, Urihorn wanders the vacant streets, sees the same oppressive emptiness Daermon and the others noted, the silence, the fear, almost tangible.
From a few wary passersby, he quickly learns about the town's strict curfew, the burgomistress's severe crackdown. Rapidly gets a handle on the oppressive atmosphere defining Vallaki's new reality. He's quick to adapt, quick to learn the rules of this grim new game. Survivor's instinct kicking in.
And eventually he finds his way to the Blue Water Inn, the known nexus of activity, or at least where activity might happen.
And just like with the others, Danica, the innkeeper, regards Urihorn coolly. Openly suspicious of this newcomer, reinforces that pervasive distrust, solidifies the inn's transformation from welcoming haven to place of wary scrutiny.
But despite Danica's frosty reception, Urihorn soon makes a crucial acquaintance. Rictavio, the entertainer.
And Rictavio is immediately intrigued. recognizes Urihorn as a fellow mistwalker, someone who's traversed those mysterious, reality-bending mists surrounding Barovia that trap outsiders.
Instantly sets them apart from the locals. Kindred spirits, maybe, if not allies yet.
And Urihorn is remarkably bold about his origins, not discreet about being from Falkovnia, and, more significantly, states his clear, vengeful objective: seek vengeance on Strode von Zarovich.
Wow, just lays it out there. Immediately establishes his motivations, the incredibly high stakes of him being in Barovia. He's not just passing through.
Nope. Ricavio, sensing the importance of this, maybe recognizing a powerful, if reckless, potential ally, invites Urihorn to his room for a private, more discreet discussion, away from prying eyes and ears, especially Strode's spies.
And here's where we get one of the most thrilling reveals of the whole session. After swearing Urihorn to absolute secrecy, Rictavio performs this dramatic reveal.
Removes his hat.
And his appearance shimmers, changes right before Urihorn's eyes. Face becomes leaner, older. Attire shifts from vagabond ringleader to something more like an itinerant schoolmaster.
He apologizes for the deception, explains discretion is absolutely necessary to hide from Strahd's countless spies. They're everywhere. Then he reveals his true name: Rudolf van Richten.
Rudolf van Richten. And for Urihorn, the halfling, this name is instantly recognized. A gasp-worthy moment.
Absolutely. He knows it. Renowned monster hunter from Darkon, a land shrouded in its own ancient terrors, immediately elevates this encounter to monumental significance. This isn't just an entertainer. This is a living legend, a figure synonymous with fighting the very evils plaguing Barovia.
So they talk for a while, establishing shared purpose.
Yeah, promising each other aid in their mutual desperate endeavor against Strahd. This is a critical alliance forming, built on shared knowledge in this common, fearsome enemy.
Van Richten, with his vast experience, must offer some critical wisdom, insights honed over years of dangerous work.
He does. Explains the typical vampire weaknesses, knowledge most hunters would prize, but quickly warns Strahd is far more powerful than any ordinary undead.
How so?
He's aided by the land itself, its beasts, even the Vistani. Plus, he's a capable necromancer. A truly formidable, almost unbeatable foe.
So Urihorn expresses his goal looking for allies to take vengeance.
Right. But Van Richten, true to his methodical, cautious nature, declines the implied offer of an immediate alliance. Says he hasn't yet developed a full, comprehensive strategy to defeat the Vampire Lord. Deems it too early to act.
Shows his meticulous approach. Contrasts sharply with the impulsiveness we've seen, underscores the immense challenge Strahd represents.
Exactly. And then comes the critical warning, a moment of profound foreshadowing. Van Richten warns Urihorn to stay clear of a group of recently arrived adventurers, clearly meaning Radley, Traxidor, and Daermon.
Wait, he warns him against them?
Yes. He suspects they may even be spies of Strahd, saying they indicated a willingness to aid vampires. A grave accusation. This is a massive red flag for you, the listener, and for Urihorn, who's just stumbled into this incredibly complex, dangerous web of alliances and betrayals.
Wow. And as Urihorn leaves,
Van Richten offers a practical boon, a potion of greater healing, a small but significant gesture of goodwill, aid for his dangerous mission.
So, zooming out, what does this all mean for the narrative? This introduction of Rudolf van Richten, it's an absolute game changer.
No question. His deep knowledge of Strahd, his cautious, strategic approach, they contrast so sharply with the often chaotic, impulsive actions of the adventurers we've been following.
Adds a layer of seasoned professional monster hunting to their amateur, often desperate efforts.
And his specific warning about Daermon's group creates immense dramatic tension and foreshadowing. You've got this renowned monster hunter, the expert, advising our new character to avoid the very people we've been following, questioning their loyalties, even suggesting they might be agents of the enemy.
It sets up a fascinating conflict, potential betrayal. Completely alters our perception of the existing party. Casts this long shadow of doubt over their intentions, their actions. It's a masterful stroke of narrative, weaving immediate high-stakes drama and profound mistrust right into the story's fabric. So we have all these threads in motion now, just spiraling towards this dramatic convergence. Daermon, fresh from his spectacularly chaotic success with the wedding dress, makes a swift, discreet return to the Blue Water Inn, probably feeling quite pleased with himself, despite the carnage of the horses and wagon.
Yeah, objective achieved, right, in his mind, maybe.
And it's right upon his return that paths converge, a fateful intersection. He sees Urihorn Tenpenny, who has just come down the stairs from Van Richten's room, likely still processing those monumental revelations, still reeling from meeting a legend.
This moment is absolutely charged with dramatic irony. almost painful in its anticipation for us, knowing what we know.
Daermon, ever quick to assess, instantly recognizes the halfling's campaigner's attire sign of a fellow traveler, maybe a warrior. They quickly make acquaintances, finding common ground in this tense, unwelcoming town.
What makes this so compelling and tragically ironic is that Van Richten's crucial warning about these adventurers potentially being Strahd's spies is either forgotten in the rush of meeting a new companion or maybe deliberately dismissed by Urihorn.
Maybe he values a potential ally right now more than a vague caution.
Could be, but it creates immediate dramatic irony for you, the listener, who knows the full, terrible context of that warning. So Daermon and Urihorn quickly become associates. Daermon says he's waiting for his friend's return, completely unaware of the perilous situation they are in right now.
And speaking of peril, while Daermon is safely back at the inn, oblivious, Urihorn's warning forgotten. Radley and Traxidor are having a very different, very dire experience.
Yeah, the flip side of the coin.
They finally arrive at the wreckage of the wagon, still trying to be cautious, behind the houses, trying to see if Daermon is in the crowd that's gathered around the crash site.
But it's not them who spot Daermon. Oh no. It's the mob of bystanders drawn by the chaos who spot Traxidor and Radley first.
Oh, bad luck.
Someone yells the dreaded words, "It is the strangers that the burgomistress is looking for." And just like that, boom. They're no longer cautious observers. They are instant targets. The public spectacle Daermon created is now coming back to haunt his unsuspecting companions.
The chase begins immediately. A frantic, desperate flight.
Instantly. A group of vigilantes, eager to earn the burgomistress's favor or maybe just lash out at those they perceive as the cause of their fear, charges after them. Radley and Traxidor are forced to turn tail, run north up the street, their only hope, the North Gate, with the angry mob hot on their heels.
It's a swift, brutal turn of events, a direct, devastating consequence of the public spectacle Daermon's heist created. Their earlier caution, trying to stay inconspicuous, meaningless now in the face of an enraged, terrified populace.
At the gate, their desperation becomes palpable. They see a small contingent of guards, another warden. While sprinting, Traxidor, thinking fast, pragmatically, offers them money. Hopes to bribe his way out, escape Vallaki's tightening grip.
Does it work? A long shot, maybe?
Nope. The warden, clearly loyal, maybe emboldened by the mob and the new regime's severity, just sneers, retorts with this chilling finality that he'll have his money when he is dead.
Oof. Chilling. Underscores the absolute authority, the ruthlessness of the new Vallaki.
Radley tries a different tactic, throws coins into the mob, hoping to distract or deter them, scatter them with greed maybe.
Buys them a second.
Doesn't work. Only fuels their desire to earn the burgomistress's favor. Makes them even more fervent in their pursuit. It's a total lose-lose situation. Every attempted solution just deepens their predicament.
So the fight breaks out, a desperate, unequal struggle.
The melee is joined. Despite the adventurers' inherent skill at arms, their proven combat prowess, the Vallaki militia and the enraged mob are simply too numerous. An overwhelming tide of bodies and anger.
But they must put up a fight.
Oh yeah. The source confirms their skill. Several guards are slain. A half-dozen vigilantes dispatched by Traxidor's powerful Thunderwave spell, that burst of concussive force that pushes enemies back, shows their fighting ability. They can inflict significant damage. Traxidor also uses healing magic to deflect injury, showing his resilience.
The sheer numbers.
Sheer numbers overwhelm them. The mob just pummels them mercilessly until they finally fall beneath their feet, unconscious, utterly defeated, captured by the very town they were trying to navigate. It's a brutal defeat, illustrating that even the most skilled adventurers can be brought down by overwhelming force, especially in a hostile place like Vallaki, where the populace itself becomes an enemy.
And the news spreads like wildfire, I assume, in a tense, insular town like that.
Exactly. The word of the brawl, the chase, the capture of these strangers quickly echoes across Vallaki. Sometime later, back at the Blue Water Inn, Danica, now frantic, clearly shaken, rushes into the taproom.
To tell Daermon.
Yells to Daermon, delivering the devastating news. His friends, Radley and Traxidor, have been captured by the burgomistress's soldiers. The consequences of the earlier chaos, Daermon's impulsive heist, have finally caught up. And Daermon, with his newly formed, highly ironic alliance with Urihorn, is now left holding the bag, facing an impossible dilemma.
This isn't just a question of what Daermon and Urihorn will do now. It's how this crisis will define their characters, their brand new alliance.
Right. That dramatic irony of Van Richten's warning, totally ignored by Urihorn, who's now allied with one of the very individuals Van Richten cautioned him against, combined with the swift, brutal capture of the others. It sets the stage for a truly precarious, unpredictable future.
Will Urihorn's trust in Daermon even survive this? What does it say about the dangers of forging alliances in a land where mistrust is often the safest bet?
And what kind of impossible choices will they face, knowing their comrades are now at the mercy of Vallaki's new, ruthless regime? The stage is set for an epic, potentially deadly confrontation. Loyalties tested, the true cost of their actions becoming painfully clear. #outro.
Wow, what a session, huh? From that meticulously reevaluated tarot reading, offering both guidance and just frustrating mystery, to a spectacularly chaotic wagon heist ending in that dramatic crash and, well, moral ambiguity.
Definitely ambiguous.
To the surprising, highly significant entrance of Rudolf van Richten, the renowned monster hunter. And finally, the shocking capture of two key adventurers. This deep dive has truly shown us that fine line between triumph and disaster, and how swiftly fortunes can turn in the treacherous lands of Barovia, where every victory can carry some hidden, unforeseen costs.
And you've seen how quickly alliances can form and crumble, how good intentions can lead to devastating unintended consequences, and how a well-meaning critical warning can be totally ignored, leading to immediate, perilous outcomes.
So with Radley and Traxidor now in the burgomistress's clutches, imprisoned by the very authority they were trying to evade, what does this mean for the newly forged alliance between Daermon and Urihorn?
Yeah, will Urihorn realize the gravity of Van Richten's warning too late? Or will a shared enemy maybe solidify their bond? And what role will Rudolf van Richten, with his deep knowledge and profound suspicions, ultimately play in their unfolding story as these forces of fate and consequence converge?
The stage is set for an epic and potentially deadly confrontation where the very concept of trust is basically a weapon. So what will you do next, knowing what you now know about the perils and alliances of Vallaki?